Church bells and panicked voices ring out amid the destruction as people in the small town of Petrinia rush to rescue people from the rubble. One house collapsed on top of this car. There's a man and a boy inside. Thankfully, local residents managed to get them both out alive. But there have been deaths, including a 12-year-old girl. These pictures, filmed by Al Jazeera, make clear the damage. Houses completely collapsed, others partially destroyed, and stonework strewn across roads. Al Jazeera reporter Marin Veršić was reporting live when there was an aftershock. Soldiers from a nearby barracks were quickly on site, handing out blankets to elderly people evacuated from a nursing home. They've also brought emergency shelters for the town's 20,000 residents.
We're going to start with the historic victory for women's rights in Latin America, where senators in Argentina have voted to legalize abortion. After a marathon session, 38 senators voted for legalizing terminations of up to 14 weeks, while 29 senators voted against. Up to 520,000 women sought illegal abortions in Argentina each year. 40,000 of them ended up in hospital after complications during the procedure.
This week, the United Kingdom and the European Union sealed a crucial trade deal. It covers most aspects of the post-Brexit world for United Kingdom, but there is one sticking point which still remains. It's a small slice of land that is located on the tip of the Iberian Peninsula, called Gibraltar. Now, Gibraltar is a British overseas territory. It is located at Spain's southern border. Almost about 15,000 Spaniards travel to Gibraltar every day for work. And until now, this was not a problem because the borders were open. But on the 1st of January, this arrangement will expire. And if Spain and the United Kingdom are not able to reach a deal, then a hard border will separate Gibraltar and Spain. And this is bad news for both sides. Almost about 50% of Gibraltar's workforce is Spanish. And almost about 60% of the GDP in Spain's La Linea region is linked to Gibraltar.
Now, no elaboration from AFRICOM as U.S. forces in Somalia begin departing for other undisclosed locations as the USS Nimitz arrives in the region, providing air support as troops move, while fighter jets on Christmas Eve conducted airstrikes targeting al-Shabaab compounds.
Well, it's a very unfortunate development from a geostrategic standpoint, given the fact that al-Shabaab, which is linked to al-Qaeda, is on the rise, is sweeping Somalia, is occupying many areas in Somalia, and is directly attacking that government. Yet Donald Trump, who claims he's moving troops up as a campaign promise to bring troops back, doesn't make any sense because he's moving them both to Kenya and to Djibouti.
Ten Hong Kong activists who attempted to flee to Taiwan by boat were sentenced in mainland China for up to 3 years in jail on Wednesday for illegally crossing the border. The case has drawn international attention and concern over the defendants' treatment. The group all had faced charges in Hong Kong from last year's anti-government protests and were travelling away from the city when they were intercepted on August 23rd, allegedly en route to self-ruled Taiwan. They have been held virtually incommunicado in a mainland Chinese prison since then. A court in the Chinese city of Shenzhen, just over the land border with Hong Kong, found 8 of the defendants guilty of illegally crossing the border and sentenced them to 7 months in jail and a fine of over $1,500.
The 2-week ban on alcohol sales will make a huge difference in easing the pressure on hospitals. That's according to health officials in the Western Cape. But Health MEC Anoma French Mbombo says additional hospital beds don't mean the province has everything under control. Healthcare workers are just not coping with the increase in COVID-19 cases.
Khayelitsha Hospital has added 20 more beds for COVID-19 related illnesses. The health department says the 2 weeks for stricter rules will ease the pressure on the hospital. The department says if the hospital reaches capacity, patients will be referred to Tygerberg Hospital, Lentegeur and Brackengate-filled hospitals.
We appeal to the people. If it's not an emergency and it's a minor ailment, go to the nearest clinic.
The Kentucky police officer who fired the shot that killed Breonna Taylor was told on Tuesday that he'll soon be terminated. That's according to U.S. media reports. In March, 3 Louisville police officers botched a raid on 26-year-old Taylor's apartment. Her boyfriend fired once at what he said he believed were intruders. Officers fired back 32 times. 6 of the shots struck and killed Taylor. Her death became one of the main symbols of protest in the United States over the summer, as demonstrators spoke out against police brutality and racism. The New York Times reported on Tuesday that 2 officers involved in the deadly raid, Detectives Miles Cosgrove and Joshua Janes, received notices of termination. That reporting came from statements prepared by the detectives' lawyers.
Moving on, Pakistan's anti-corruption body has arrested the former Foreign Affairs Minister and PMLN lawmaker Khwaja Asif on Tuesday. The country's National Accountability Bureau confirmed Asif's arrest and said that he was taken into the custody for having assets beyond known sources of income. Asif was arrested when he was coming out of a party meeting. The anti-graft body has said that Asif has continuously failed to cooperate during the inquiry. The Bureau said that Asif held a Dubai work permit from 2004 to 2008 and earned a total of 136 million Pakistani rupees for his services as a consultant legal advisor. The PMLN chief, Nawaz Sharif, has condemned this arrest and said that the move only shows that the government is rattled. His daughter and the party's vice president, Maryam Nawaz, has alleged that Asif was being pressurized to oppose Nawaz Sharif and was arrested after he refused to do so.
The world is tonight mourning a fashion icon, Pierre Cardin, who has died at the age of 98. The French designer was famous for his groundbreaking styles and for bringing high fashion to the masses.
He'll be remembered as a revolutionary, a designer for 70 years, a lifelong innovator who never stopped challenging convention. Pierre Cardin was born in Italy but became a giant of French fashion, training under Christian Dior in the 1940s, then launching his own label in the 50s. To the horror of fellow high-end designers, his range was affordable.
Another leader of the fashion world in Paris, Pierre Cardin, takes the town by storm and reveals to breathlessly excited womanhood what they simply must be wearing by Easter.
Among the designs that would turn the pioneer into a legend, the bubble dress that quickly became a worldwide hit, the slimmed-down collarless suit worn by the Beatles, who described him as one step ahead of tomorrow, and the futuristic designs inspired by the space age, not always practical, like these proposed uniforms for nurses.